Why did nobody tell me how amazing the Google Pixel 9a is? So I picked up this Google Pixel 9a, and you guys know how I feel about the Google Pixel 9 Pro. I feel like that is the best phone, arguably, on the market right now, the Pixel 9 Pro and 9 Pro XL. And I didn't really have high expectations for this Pixel 9a. But whenever I took this phone out of the package and held it in hand, my first words were, wow. This porcelain color is absolutely beautiful. It has this very light champagne off-white look to it. And of course it comes with that plastic back, but I could honestly argue that the plastic back is nicer than the glass back. You get that durability and convenience of not having a glass back in terms of durability. And it's cool because it doesn't feel plastic at all. If you've ever used a matte screen protector, this back plastic glass feels exactly like a matte screen protector in my hands. I love the feel of it. And the aluminum sides of this phone are different than any phone I've held in a long time. It looks very similar to an iPhone, but the material is insanely grippy. The best way to explain the texture of these sides is it's kind of like a bead blasted product, if you guys have ever held anything like that. It's extremely light and balanced overall. And don't even get me started on that non-existent camera bump. So whenever you are looking at it, it looks like the camera has a protective outer layer around it. But when you have it on the table, it feels non-existent. I love this. Google just out of nowhere decided to make their budget phone exactly what we wanted. A phone with a larger battery, with no camera bump. And honestly, for what it's worth, the phone feels extremely thin, although there is no camera bump. I think it's funny that Google portrayed their mastery in a budget device. I am absolutely infatuated with this design. And then of course, at the front of the device, you do have those larger bezels. And I obviously wish they weren't there because it would allow this 6.3-inch phone to have a smaller footprint. Obviously, the smaller the bezels, the smaller the actual phone itself can be. Overall, it doesn't bother me too much. Now, one thing that also surprised me was the display. I can't believe displays in this price range are this good. It's honestly very similar to my Pixel 9 Pro in terms of screen quality, color accuracy, and brightness. The brightness on this phone is great. I will say that the auto brightness feature is very hit and miss on this phone. It is tuned very aggressively, and I do not like that at all. It's very finicky. It's aggressive and finicky at the same time. But for this price, my goodness, is this screen amazing. It is a 1080p screen, but for some reason, I don't see any issues with it. Maybe it's because it is only a 6.3-inch size, but even with the better screen on the Pixel 9 Pro, and using them side by side, I don't see a massive difference. I really like the way they tuned the colors on this display. The phone is also 120 Hertz, which is odd that the phone comes out of the box at 60 Hertz. The only reason why I think they did that, it's not to say battery. It's because when you have 3 phones at Best Buy in a Google stand, Pixel 9a, Pixel 9, and Pixel 9 Pro XL, just as an example. You have all 3 of those phones stationed in a stand, and me as a consumer is looking at all 3 of those phones. Typically when customers build their displays, they set them up and put them into demo mode and all that good stuff, but they're not gonna go around and mess with the display settings and all of that. So why not ship the phone at 60 Hertz? That way, whenever you are comparing this phone compared to the other Pixel products that are more expensive, the screen does not look as good. That is the only reasonable explanation of why they are doing that. I just find it odd. I wonder how many A series users don't turn the display to the smooth display option. Let me know if you are one of those people in the comments where you buy a Pixel 8 device and you keep it on 60 Hertz versus turning on smooth display. But yeah, as soon as you turn on the 120 Hertz on this screen, the phone overall feels almost as smooth as the Pixel 9 and Pixel 9 Pro devices. Almost as smooth. I have noticed occasions to where the performance does dip more than my Pixel 9 Pro does. And I'm not sure why that's the case. I don't know if it's because it only has 8 gigs of RAM or if Google is doing some type of mastery where they make the 9A series seem less powerful than the other 9s. I surely hope Google isn't doing something like that, but I can definitely tell a difference in performance between this phone and my Pixel 9 Pro. Now, I did download the Android 16 beta on this phone, and the Android 16 beta actually runs better than Android 15 did on this phone by a large margin. So right now, when I'm using this, I'm comparing it to my Pixel 9 Pro that's also on a beta, and they both perform very well. But like I mentioned, the 9A on Android 15 and on Android 16 just doesn't perform as well as the 9 Pro. Other than me comparing it to the Pixel 9 Pro, the phone's performance is great, especially for a phone in this price range. There are a lot of other phones in this price range that you can tell are in this price range. Yeah, the performance, you will not be disappointed. Now, one area that disappointed me was the actual speaker quality. I will say the speakers themselves seem to get pretty loud, but there is a huge difference in audio quality. There seems to be no bass at all, and the audio seems very flatlined, like there's no differentiation between the sound fullness. So that is definitely one area where you will notice a difference. Now we have to talk about software. So just like I mentioned earlier, I'm running the Android 16 beta, and it was just updated to the beta 1.1. So the second iteration-ish of the Android 16 beta. And when you look at this phone's software compared to other phones in this price range, there is honestly no comparison. So of course, since this is a brand new Google Pixel device, you will get years of software support on this device. And not only that, but you get all of the benefits software-wise that you would get with the flagship Pixel phones. Now, I have heard people mention that since this phone has 8 gigs of RAM, there are AI limitations with this product. And if you guys know what those limitations are, please inform us in the comments. I don't know exactly what's missing on the Google Pixels whenever you only have 8 gigs of RAM versus 12 or 16. So please let us know down below. Other than that issue, you should have a very similar experience to the Pro level devices. And honestly, even the Pixel 10s, that is an excellent feature. You will not find with any other devices in this price range. Let's talk about the battery. So I love the battery on this phone. So they gave the cheapest phone in their lineup the largest battery. I think that that is so cool, and I hope that they continue to do that with their future iteration devices. And as of right now, I am actually getting 2 days of moderate to heavy use on this phone. So I can take this phone off the charger at 7 a.m. and not have to charge it again until mid-afternoon, evening the following day. Battery on this phone for me is very similar to my iPhone 16 Pro Max and OnePlus 13. And that's with running the 120 Hertz, having the always on display on, and using this phone similarly to what I would use any other phone for. Now, I don't particularly game much on this device, although you can. The Tensor G4, you can definitely play a lot of games on. Of course, not the highest of highest games, but you can definitely game on it. And if you do, your battery will last a while. So I love that they went ahead and made the device a little bit thicker. Although, like I said, it doesn't feel any thicker or heavier than any other phone. And they gave us a usable battery. I love that. And it seems to be getting even better with Android 16. But I'm glad the battery sure lasts because the charging is horribly slow on this phone. This is a phone you will probably want to charge overnight. It is capped at 20 watts of charging, so it will take a couple of hours to charge whenever you do have to plug it in. So just keep that in mind. Cameras. So the cameras are tuned exactly like you would expect from a Google Pixel device. But since this phone is flat backed, it did not come with a fantastic camera. I don't know this for a fact, but I can tell that this camera is not as good as the 9 and 9 Pro devices. I feel like whenever I shoot, if I shoot more than 2x, the camera just doesn't look as good as the other Pixel phones, and I can really tell. Now, I'm not saying that the camera is not good, but my expectations were a little bit higher. Now, to be fair, I am somebody who loves using telephoto lenses. I love shooting in that higher millimeter range. So I am probably not the best consumer when it comes to using this particular camera. Now, if you stick with the ultra wide and just the 1x and 2x ranges, you will have really good photos. Just wish I could get a little bit more out of that zoom. Now, it is still a 48 megapixel camera, and you can shoot in RAW still, which is great. Whenever I do my famous Google Pixel long-term reviews, I will have a lot more pictures and footage for you guys. And one thing I noticed was that this phone does not have a video boost whenever you are shooting videos. Now you can shoot in 4K 30 and 4K 60 with the rear camera, and the ultra wide camera you can shoot in 4K 30, and you can shoot in 4K 30 with the front facing camera as well. Now the video camera, it says it can shoot in HDR, but there is no HDR option inside of the actual settings before you start making a video. So I found that odd. And I do like how the cameras have the speech enhancement feature for the microphones as well. I find this phone to have really good haptics as well. And with the enhancements of Android 16, it really broadcasts that haptic feedback across the OS, and it seems to suit this phone very well. So I do like the haptics. Last but not least, I know a lot of people have complained about the cellular connectivity, the Wi-Fi speeds, the overheating, the 5G connection. I haven't had overheating, I haven't had Wi-Fi issues, and I haven't really had cellular connectivity issues either. Now, I will say that this phone definitely does not connect as well in bad connection areas as my Pixel 9 Pro does. The Pixel 9 Pro is one of the best I've used, and I know they are using older hardware in this, and I can definitely tell that. But so far for me, it has not been detrimental at all. I seem to have a really good connection. This phone does heat up more than the Pixel 9 Pro does whenever I am typically operating the phone, but it doesn't feel like it's overheating. I just feel like it's heating up more often than not. Running a speed test here in my office, I get very similar speeds as I do with other phones. So I don't see that being a problem. So yeah, the Pixel 9a shocked me. I am very surprised I like this phone as much as I do. The experience I got with this phone is very similar to my Pixel 9 Pro. Outside of the larger bezels, the lack of speaker quality, and the less smooth operation of the actual device itself, I am very surprised. I could honestly use this phone as my main Android phone, no problem. I would have loved if Google made this a 6.1 inch or 6-inch display, gave it even thin bezels all around, and kept this exact same design. That would be the perfect A phone for me. I wouldn't even be opposed of like a 5.8 inch screen, but I know they're not gonna do that, but I think that that would be really cool. I am not opposed to telling as many people as I can how awesome this phone is. I feel like it's so good, especially in this price range, especially if you can get it on sale, that it makes the normal Google Pixel 9 irrelevant. It doesn't necessarily push the Pixel 9 Pro and 9 Pro XL out of the way just yet, but the standard Pixel 9, I don't see a reason to buy that phone at all when you have this phone out there on the market. It's that good. I'm interested to see what Google does with the Pixel 10 series and the Pixel 10 Pro series, and I wonder how this will slide in with those devices. I appreciate you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like it, make sure to subscribe if you have not already, and check out my other Pixel videos. I have a lot of Pixel content, and the Pixel content is going to keep coming, so make sure to stay tuned. I'll see you next time. Fade away as you fade away.